In this program, we'll catch up with something about the way transport was in the very early days in the Mackenzie country as we join Canterbury Pilgrimage.
Who first settled at Burkes Pass isn't recorded, but in 1861 a man named James Noonan built an accommodation house about 2 miles south of the actual pass on the banks of the Opahee River. This place became known as the Three Creeks Hotel. Noonan was drowned in a river crossing, and his brother-in-law, John Burgess, whom we mentioned when referring to the Tekapo Bridge in an earlier episode, John Burgess took over the Three Creeks Hotel in 1862. A tiny settlement grew up round this hotel, and it later became known as Burkes Pass. There are still a few houses and a hotel there, but it's a quiet place today compared with earlier times. We learnt a bit about it from Charlie Elms when we got to Fairley. Charlie Elms was born at Periora 74 years ago, and became a coach driver in the Temuka district. One day he saw an advertisement for a driver on the Mount Cook route. He applied, got the job, and came up country on the last day of the year 1906. But we'll let Mr. Elms tell his own story.
By Jove, in the early days it was pretty tough. I remember in 1908 leaving here with a coach and horses to go to Pukaki in the wintertime, and I only got to Burkes Pass, had to leave the coach, and was at Burkes Pass for a week, and couldn't get up the cutting, about 22 feet of snow on it. It was just across it wasn't the depth of the snow, it was the drift filled in the road. And the council had 27 draft horses there breaking a track. And they come down one day and it's for dinner, and they said, you'll be able to get through at 3 o'clock. So you can come up. And I said, oh, by Jove, I don't want to be through at 3 o'clock. I said, where am I going to get to tonight? Oh, that'll be all right. We don't know where you get to, but you can get through. So there was a little fellow, George Walker, come up from Fairley to give me a hand, and we left the coach and put the packs on, and away we went. And we got up to the cutting, and we couldn't get over. So we stopped there for we must have been half an hour waiting there. And the fellow come and sung out, all clear, you can get through. With that, we made a start to go, and John Matheson of Simon Spas, he shot past us on a horse. We didn't know he was there, and we got over behind him, and we followed him down to the dog kennel corner, and he went up the Holden Road, and we went to the Tekapo Road. And we got to Edwards's Creek that night, and the horses was knocked up, and we skinned off their legs with the frost, and we couldn't go no further, so we tied them up to the fence and left them there all night and went into the hut. And it was a terrible cold night, and we started and lit a fire and pulled all the purlins off of the studs and burnt them to keep ourselves warm till morning. And as soon as it broke daylight, we made for Tekapo. By Jove, it was a rough trip, I can tell you.
Charlie Elms is living in retirement now. He managed the Hermitage for 15 years, until about 1939, but now, from his place in the sun, he can look back without regret on the hard times. And he certainly has a place in the sun. It was streaming into the garden the morning we called. He was basking in it by the gate when we pulled up. Oh, yes, I pass the time of day with all who come by, he said. There's too much of this stuck-up business these days. And when we left, we saw him return to his posse at the gate. An old man full of memories, but smiling, and with a friendly word for everyone.